we'll stop that there, and then we'll have a look at this last piece of code. It says when the green flag is clicked, so this one here, another forever loop. Something that's going to continue on and on. It's going to change the velocity by -1, which is interesting because we set the velocity to 0 and then we change it to -1. So it seems like we're sort of doubling up there a bit. But let's see what happens if we change our velocity to -0.5. What do you think is going to happen? Let's find out. Okay. We're still bouncing higher, but we're also falling a lot slower as well. So if we change this to -0.1 rather, look how slowly that velocity works now. So this is our speed in which the ball falls. And this one here, this variable here, is how much we are adding or subtracting from our gravity. So our gravity and our speed. Of course, we're going to have a bit of fun and make this go hyper. -2. Super fast, bouncy ball. And of course, we can have a bit of a play with this and really go crazy if you want to. And what's great, as you've just noticed, when I type a value in and hit enter, it straight away applies it to what we can see in here. So we get that instant feedback, which is really nice. Interesting too that it actually goes past this line. I wonder what would happen if we do back to our original -0.05 and hit enter. Let's watch. Oh wow, yeah, that velocity is so strong, it's almost like blasting past this log. So we'll go back to where we were, which was, I believe, -1. I may be wrong. That looks about right. So this is our presets. This is what our defaults were. Okay, so we've kind of got a basic understanding of how this ball works now. Let's stop it there and let's start having a bit of fun with this and make it a bit of a game. So I'd like to add a few more of these, grounds. So I'm going to select it, right click and duplicate it. So now we have ground and ground 2. And we can click and drag on ground 2 or any of the other sprites here at any time and move them around. So if I put this one just here and hit that start button, nothing happens. Let's go back to our red ball and see why not. Stop, gravity ball, and let's have a look at where we can see ground. There it is. So it's saying if touching ground, then set the velocity. But since the red ball's not touching ground 2, it's not going to react. So we could change this to ground 2, but then ground 1 would be unaffected. So what we can do is cheat a little bit, right click on this whole portion here in this when green clicked and hit duplicate. And that gives us a second copy of all of that code without us having to write it out. And as you might have guessed, we can change that to ground 2. Now, as we change that and hit stop and hit go again, fantastic. Copying this code has enabled us ground 2 to interact with our red ball as well. Now, as a game, this probably isn't too much fun at the moment. We can't really do too much with two of the same platforms doing the same thing. So let's change up what ground 2 does. We'll go back to grav ball, and instead of ground 2 again absorbing that momentum, let's make it into a bit of a jump pad. So we're going to make this, instead of -0.95, let's make it +0.95. So ground 2 will be our jump pad. We'll put that just down here. And ground 1 will be our normal gravity. So let's see what this does.